What's up? Welcome to Models and Agents, episode 105. It's July 8th, 2026. Lots of news to walk through. Let's start with what actually matters. OpenAI's next frontier model arrives Thursday, while a 2.7 trillion parameter Chinese model readies for open release. Sam Altman confirmed that GPT-5.6 Sol launches this week. MiniMax plans a 2.7 trillion parameter M3 Pro model for Q3 open sourcing focused on complex reasoning. Simon Willison's Claude Fable 5 review of SkeetQ EP8-Utils 4.0 surfaced 4 additional blockers plus an upgrade guide agents can consume directly. Builders should watch release timing and test the new upgrade tooling this week. Sam Altman announced GPT-5.6 Sol will launch Thursday. The release follows limited preview testing and targets global rollout after initial access. It continues OpenAI's pattern of iterative frontier updates that trade incremental capability gains against inference cost. Developers building production agents or long context applications should prepare integration tests once the model hits the API. The announcement leaves open questions about context length, pricing tiers, and whether it narrows the gap with open-weight competitors on reasoning benchmarks. Watch for the exact release notes and any new tool calling improvements that could affect agent reliability. MiniMax is preparing a 2.7 trillion parameter model internally codenamed M3 Pro. It will be released and open-sourced as early as Q3 with claimed gains on complex reasoning and multi-step tasks. The new model dwarfs the company's current 428 billion parameter M3 flagship. Builders tracking open weight scaling should monitor Hugging Face for the weights once they drop. This fits the ongoing arc for open weight models as they continue narrowing the performance gap with closed frontier systems. TokenAI released 2 open-source hieroglyph translation models built on Qwen 3.5. Horus Hiero 9B and the 4B mini variant support text, image, and video input across approximately 150 languages with a 512,000 context window. They report 79% on MMLU Pro, 63% on Live Code Bench, and 84% on Human Eval, while adding the first large-scale multimodal hieroglyph capability. The models are available on Hugging Face with neural node framework support. Community benchmarks show Mimo v2.5 outperforming DeepSeek v4 Flash on several coding harnesses including Codex, OhmyPy, and Hermes. Terminal Bench v2.0 scores reached 55% with Mimo versus under 50% for the compared models. Users report stronger performance on real-world complex problem-solving despite similar aggregate benchmark numbers. Simon Willison reports Claude Fable 5 demonstrated strong taste doing SkeetQ4.Utils 4.0 code review, catching API design issues the author had missed. The model was given a final release prompt and identified 4 additional blockers. This continues the pattern of frontier models serving as high-signal code reviewers for open-source maintainers. A new study tested 4 open models in an iterated split or steal game against a fixed GPT 4.1 mini virtual human. The models were Ministral 3.3b, Phi 4.14b, Gemma 3.12b, and Gemma 4e4b. Pro-social and principled personas produced the most consistent cooperation, while analytical personas were likelier to exploit. The work provides a baseline for future embodied VR studies of trust and strategic behavior. Researchers trained search routing policies on Gemma E2b and Qwen 3.5 to 4b using counterfactual supervision that compares no search versus forced search outcomes. MacroF won on Oracle-eligible examples rose from 0.7082 to 0.8235 for Gemma and from 0.7053 to 0.8365 for Qwen. The policies reduce model-specific failures such as unnecessary search calls or missed retrieval. A workload-aware study compared Cavi, TurboQuant, SnapCavi, and CAM on Llama 3.1 to 8B Instruct and Mistral 7B Instruct v0.3 across long bench tasks. Compression ratio alone poorly predicted end-to-end performance. Kiwi 4 offered the most stable quality, while SnapKV delivered the strongest long context throughput. The results argue for workload-aware selection rather than one-size-fits-all compression. Removing the peer speaker from conformity prompts still caused harmful revision in 66.5% of initially correct answers across 6 open-weight LLMs, versus 10.3% for a plain re-ask. The finding establishes a speaker-free floor that existing benchmarks must measure before attributing changes to social influence. A detailed upgrade guide for the slightly backwards incompatible SQLite-Utils 4.0 release is now available. The guide is designed to be fed directly to coding agents so they can apply the changes automatically. Maintainers can also read it manually at sql-utils.dataset.io. Claude Fable 5 identified 4 additional SQLite-Utils 4.0 release blockers during a final review pass. The prompt and findings are documented on simonwillison.net. A new 200-document Bangla government form comprehension benchmark tests MLLMs on layout analysis and key information extraction across 26 fine-grained entity types. Zero-shot and chain-of-thought evaluations of ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, Qwen, and Kimi series reveal current limitations in localizing granular entities. The dataset is released on Hugging Face, a 3-stage retrieval re-rank reason pipeline built from 4B open-weight models matches frontier KOL search accuracy at roughly 35 times lower token cost. The system reaches 94.1% PAT5 on an 11-query Thai marketing benchmark, while serving a 50 KOL query in approximately 20 seconds on one A100. Okay, let's pop the hood on span-level uncertainty quantification. Everyone talks about uncertainty estimation as if token-level or sequence-level scores are sufficient. In practice, both granularities create real problems for error localization and self-refinement. Token scores lack semantic coherence, while sequence scores cannot point to the specific span that went wrong. SpanU solves this by distilling multi-sample verification signals into a single forward pass that detects coherent spans and models their uncertainty with a mixture of beta distributions. The DETR-style decoder achieves 0.910 F1 on span detection, 39% above the best heuristic baseline, while running 10 to 20 times faster than sampling methods. The approach generalizes across 5 different LLM backbones. When you need precise error localization for agent self-correction rather than just a scalar confidence number, span-level methods are worth the added decoder complexity. Otherwise, the simpler sequence score still suffices for many filtering use cases. Feed Simon Willison's SQLite-Utils 4.0 upgrade guide into your coding agent and let it apply the changes on a test branch. Benchmark MIMO v2.5 against DeepSeek v4 Flash on your own complex coding tasks using the terminal bench harness. Test the new Horus Hero 9B or 4B models on any multimodal hieroglyph or ancient script translation work. Run the InfluMatch cascade locally if you need low-cost KOL or expert matching for Thai language campaigns. GPT-5.6 Sol is expected Thursday with global rollout after preview. MiniMax M3 Pro 2.7T model is slated for Q3 open source release. Continued community evaluation of MIMO v2.5 on additional real-world harnesses is underway. Tomorrow, keep an eye on the exact GPT 5.6 Sol release notes and any announced tool calling improvements. That wraps up today's AI briefing. Share this with a developer or builder who wants to stay current. Subscribe wherever you listen. See you tomorrow, and if you'd rather watch than listen, find us on YouTube at Nara Network. Links in the show notes. And before you go, this show is part of the Nara Network, a family of daily podcasts on tech, science, and markets, each one a short, sharp briefing you can finish on the commute. If today earned its place in your feed, here's your next listen. OmniView, a balanced daily world news briefing that takes every side seriously. Find every show free at naranetwork.com. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.